Hello, this is Yogeshwar 7000 again, and I'm back with another interesting topic in Vedic astrology today. And today we will be talking about another tool which is given to us in the ancient scriptures about finding out our specific areas of our lives through another, like I said, a tool called Sahamas. Okay, so it's actually Sanskrit word is Saham, but we always add an A after every Sanskrit word. Like for Ram we add Rama, and that's, I don't know why the West does that. For Krishna we add Krishna, add A. Okay, for Lagna, which is the ascendant, we call it Lagna. Okay, so actually the Sanskrit word is Saham, but we call it Sahama. Okay, so, and there are several Sahamas which actually represent certain areas of our lives. So that is, like I said, just one tool. Now for certain areas of our lives, if we look at the chart, we have been given 12 zodiac signs. The ascendant talks about ourselves, our bodies. The second house talks about our family and wealth. The fifth house talks about our children. Third house about communications, siblings. So every area of our life is represented through a zodiac sign, okay, so as to say, and the planets placed on it. And then there are other ways given to us, like for example, sage Gemini has given Charakarakas, which give us areas or specific areas of our lives through Charakarakas, meaning which those are significators, which are, call them Chara because they're movable, they keep changing based on somebody's chart. Okay, so it's not kind of a permanent karaka or significator like we just discussed about, the traditional astrology given to us by Sage Parashara, which say, for example, mother is, or moon is a significator of mother. So it's not a Charakaraka, it's a fixed karaka, okay, if you look at it from that point of view. But as per Sage Gemini, the Matra Karaka is based on the degrees of that particular planet. So that will signify the mother based on the degrees you have on that particular planet in the birth chart. Okay, so one is the fixed Karakas and another is a movable Charaka through which we do an analysis. Okay, not that Sage Parashara did not believe in the Charakarakas. He also had given us the concept of Charakarakas, but Sage Gemini actually gave it in a more detailed explanation. Sage Brigu, has another way of analyzing. Then, there are other ways and other methods through other methods which are followed in the South, which is Nadi Jyotisha. Okay, so there are several Nadi Jyotishas, Agastya Nadi, Shiva Nadi, various ways to analyze a birth chart. Okay, and then based on that you come to a conclusion as to what planet and what areas of your lives can be analyzed in a particular way. Similarly, there are several other Chandrakala Nadi. That's also one of the ways to analyze a birth chart. So I'm not going to give you all those detailed explanations there. You already know that there are several ways of analyzing a chart. So this Sahamas also is another tool, another way of analyzing birth charts. Okay, and what is Sahamas basically? That's what we're going to discuss today, and how you can use it to find specific areas of your lives. So Sahamas, once again, are significant points in the zodiac sign. So it'll give you significant points in that zodiac sign, and those points will be represented through degrees and minutes, which will relate to specific matters. Okay, and there are certain or a series of Sahamas for specific matters. So there are Sahamas like a Punya Sahama, or which will represent your punya or good deeds in your birth chart based on a specific degree or that specific point in a zodiac sign. Okay, there could be a vidya sahama, which means that vidya means education. Vidya is a Sanskrit word for education. So vidya sahama is going to give you that specific point in that particular zodiac sign, that specific degree in that particular zodiac sign, which will represent education. Okay, and these sahamas basically, you know, are nothing but formulas. How you can reach through this formula, basically, how you can reach this specific point in that specific zodiac sign. And then once you know the zodiac sign and the specific degree there, which represents a certain area of your life, then you can analyze it based on that. Just like you have been analyzing based on, you know, the traditional way of astrology, or, you know, through fixed karakas, or, you know, through charakarakas. This is another way of analyzing birth chart, which will represent certain areas of your life. So there are a series of formulas given for a series of areas in your life, like I just explained. You know, your punya, which is good deeds, your vidya, which is education, your yasha, which is fame. So there are several areas of our lives, which is not just limited to 12 in the zodiac sign. You know, there are about 36 of them, which will give you an idea of how, you know, reaching that specific point, that specific degree in that specific zodiac sign, based on which you can do an analysis of the chart. So every specific point has been given a certain formula. Okay, so for example, a punya sahama, which is a fortune, which will tell you about your fortune. What you have to do is, the formula for that is, I'm just giving you one example. The formula for that is the longitude of moon, and deduct the longitude of sun and add the longitude of lagna. That's the formula for finding that specific degree, that specific point in that specific zodiac sign. And once you know that specific point, look at your chart, see what zodiac sign it is, what degree in it is there in that specific point. I mean, what degree is represented in that specific point, and then you can do an analysis as to what planets are aspecting it, what's the lord of that zodiac sign, what planets are sitting there, whether they're conjunct, whether they're aspected by malefics, benefics. You can do an analysis based on that. Okay, so these 36 sahamas will have, all these sahamas will have different formulas. There won't be a specific formula, and I can give you these formulas, but it's better I don't confuse you. I will let you find out the sahamas through a good astrological software. Okay, that's the easy way, because, you know, if every formula, if you keep applying every formula to every different sahama, okay, then, you know, you could go wrong sometimes adding, deducting, you know, that point, or adding, deducting the longitudes of the planets, and then the lagna or the ascendant, and then coming to a specific degree in a specific zodiac sign. So you could go off. So I'll just say that I will not give you those different 36 formulas, but I will recommend that you just use a good astrological software, and then you find about every specific area of your life. Like, for example, an area of your life could be, like I just mentioned, could be fortune or punya, good deeds. Fame could be friends, could be your wife, your spouse, could be your children. So all areas of their lives will be represented through formulas, which are the sahamas, at a specific point through a specific degree in a specific zodiac sign. Okay, so these 36 have been given. So get a good software, and I'll just tell you what all Sahamas are there mentioned in the ancient scriptures. And by the way, all my videos are a direct reference to the ancient scriptures. It is not a figment of imagination of any modern day astrologer. Okay, I keep repeating that because a lot of people say different things. A lot of astrologers rather say, keep yapping on the internet, which have no reference to the ancient scriptures. They just imagine something based on some kind of an experience they have, or just by reading a book, and then they keep saying things which have no connection with the ancient scriptures. So if you want your analysis to be accurate, refer to the ancient scriptures. Okay, so the 36 Sahamas, which are represented through different formulas and which are representing or which signify different areas of our life, are Punya, which is fortune, then Yasha, which is fame, Mitra, which these are Sanskrit words, which means friends. Okay, Mahatmya, which is your own greatness, Ashas, which is your own desires, Samartha, okay, which is your ability for doing different enterprises. Okay, Bhratra, which is brothers, Gaurava, which is respect. So these are all areas of a life which are very, very important to you, and these are, once again, I'm telling you, these are represented through different formulas, okay, where you can reach these specific important points in a specific zodiac sign. Okay, then after brothers it is Gaurava, which is respect, Pitri, which is the father. Okay, so once again I'll repeat, there are different ways of finding out about these significators. We discussed about the traditional Bhrigu and the traditional Sage Parashara way. We have talked about the Charakarakas through Sage Jaimini way, and this is another technique, another tool. So don't just jump to a conclusion based on this only. Refer to all, and this was an added tool for you. Okay, so Pitri Sahama is a formula where you can find about your father, which is Pitri, in a specific zodiac sign, in a specific degree point. Okay, so then the Pitri Sahama is there. Then there is a Rajya Sahama, which is represented, or which signifies kingdom, whether you're destined to have a kingdom or not. There is Matri Sahama, where you can find about your mother, your relationship with your mother, what kind of mother you have, so on and so forth. Putra Sahama is about children. Jiva, which is life. Okay, by the way, in transits also, in Gochara, which is the Sanskrit word for transits also, these Sahamas are very significant point. Whenever planets transit these Sahama, or significant points in that specific zodiac represented by a specific area of your life, then that thing could happen. Say for example, if a planet transits your Pitri Sahama, okay, or let's not take Pitri, let's say say kingdom Sahama, which is the Rajya. The Sanskrit word for kingdom is Rajya. If a specific planet transits that particular point of the Rajya Sahama, okay, then there could be either gain of kingdom or loss of kingdom based on how that specific point is and how that planet is for you, which is transiting that particular zodiac sign. So it will represent kingdom. So one is, in general, you can do an analysis, plus transits are also very important when you do an analysis of these Sahamas, or these specific points in a specific zodiac sign. So then there is a Matri Sahama, then there is a Putra Sahama, which will tell you about your children. Then there is a Jiva Sahama, which will tell you about your life. Then there is a Karma Sahama, which will tell you about your action. So sometimes you want to find out about your job situation, and although there are ways through dasha systems and various ways. One of the ways could be see if a particular planet is transiting that karma sahama and what that planet is doing. What is the relationship of that planet to your birth chart and to that specific point in that specific zodiac sign, or any planet sitting in that zodiac sign? Then you'll be able to determine whether that person will get a good job or a good career or not. Okay, so this is how you can analyze important events, or you can make your predictions a little more accurate. Okay, so karma sahama is there. Then roga sahama will tell you about your diseases, that specific point in that specific zodiac sign. So first, analyze based on what it is in your birth chart, your natal birth chart, and then look at how the planets transiting in that particular point are affecting you. All right, so roga sahama. Then kali sahama, which is big misfortune. So you can see whether misfortune, you're destined for any kind of a misfortune or not. Okay, and once again I'm repeating, all sahama points will have different formulas. Okay, so you just use a good software. I can tell you all those formulas, but it's gonna waste your time anyways, and you'll get more confused. So kali sahama, which is about misfortunes. Shastra sahama, which is about your knowledge of science. Bandhu sahama, which is about your relatives. Mrityu sahama, which will tell you about your death. So that's very important, how transits. First of all, you can look at through your chart whether death is going to come to you early or not, or whether you'll have a long life or a mediocre life or a short life, and then see what planets are transiting. Once you find out that specific Mrityu sahama, or that specific degree point in that specific zodiac sign, you can then look what planets are transiting and what relationship it has with that specific zodiac sign at that specific point, and then you can be able to determine as to whether there's death destined or not, unfortunately. So there is Mrityu Sahama, very important. Paradesa Sahama, so people want to know whether they'll be living overseas or not. You can find out very well about Paradesa, whether they'll live in foreign countries or whether there's a permanent settlement, and when they will go to a foreign country and settle down there, the timing through the transits. Okay, then there is Artha Sahama, which is, Arth means money. Arth is a Sanskrit word for money. Then there is Paradara Sahama, which will tell you about adultery. That's very interesting, because this is something beyond the significations of the 12 zodiac signs which we have studied so far. Okay, so if you want to find out about adultery, Paradara Sahama will give you that kind of an indication. Vanik Sahama, Vanik or Vanijya is a Sanskrit word for business. So for businessmen, this Sahama point is very important. Karya Siddhi, which means success, very important to find out this point. Vivaha, marriage Sahama, when the timing of marriage is going to happen, whether marriage is going to be destined, happy, not so happy, so on and so forth. Santapa Sahama, which is sadness. Shraddha Sahama, which is about devotion. Preeti Sahama, which is about love and attachment. When will you find true love, whether true love is predicted in your birth chart or not. Okay, then there is Jadya Sahama, which talks about chronic diseases. Vyapara, once again, like Vanijya, there is a Vyapara Sahama, which will talk to you about your business. Shatru Sahama, enemies. Jalapatana Sahama, which is crossing an ocean. Earlier days and age, we didn't have airplanes, so people used to travel across oceans, and that'll give you whether you're destined to travel across oceans or what timing based on the transits you'll be able to figure out. Okay, then there's Bandhana Sahama, whether you're destined to be imprisoned and when that imprisonment will happen. Apamrityu Sahama, Labhas. Apamitru means, for the people who are from the West, it's a Sanskrit word for, not a good death kind of a thing. Bandhana Sahama, like I just mentioned, was about imprisonment. Then there is Labha Sahama, which is about, all kinds of gains. All right, so this is one way, one technique, but once again I'll repeat that do not jump to a conclusion based on Sahamas itself. Follow all the different techniques, and then whatever is overlapping, that will make much more sense. Astrology is never pure black and white, it's always a shade of gray, and if you can come to accuracy to 80%, 85%, 90%, I think you're successful. You can be successful astrologers. At least you can read your birth chart based on that. So look at all these techniques which I just mentioned, through the traditional way, through the Gemini, Parashara, through the Nadi way, and then look at this technique also, which is very, very important, coming directly from the scriptures, and then come to some kind of a conclusion. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. In the meanwhile, I will recommend subscribe to my channel, check out my website, there is a link below, and I will see you with an interesting topic in Vedic astrology in my next session very soon. Goodbye.